Do you want me to share?
Yeah, you can share your screen or just get started with the workshop. Yeah.
Can you enable my screen sharing?
Yeah, sorry.
All right. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay, let's get started. The title, I changed the title a little bit. It used to be develop web application with only Python. And then I think develop is only part of the story. And after you develop it, you want to share with other people, right? So that's why I changed develop to launch. So now it feels like more complete now. Now you launch web application with only Python. Sounds more interesting to me. I don't know what you guys think about, but that's what I think. And a little bit about myself. My name is Helin. You pronounce it Helin, right? If you can. I'm from Portland, Oregon. I live there I live here for almost 6 years so far. I love this. And I have a daughter. She's 10 years old, maybe a little bit younger than most of you. I love basketball. I'm a dog person. I like cat. I like watch cat videos, pictures, but I like petting dogs. And last but not least, I like outdoor activities, right? And then Northwest is the good place to have outdoor activities. A little bit about my career. I get my PhD in physics, quantum physics. That's why I'm a little bit more familiar with what is positron, right? So in case you need more, scientific background about discovery of positron and then property of positron, I can tell you more about that after this workshop. I got my PhD from Purdue, and I did 1 year postdoc research at University of Washington in Seattle. After that, I moved down to Portland, and then start working at Intel. At Intel, I work on artificial intelligence and machine learning. And during that time, I discovered a lot of interesting things. I discovered my own love in programming and software. And this year, I started my own company and then try to build some technology to help people to build web page or web applications. Right? So this is a little bit about myself and why I want to build, why I want to help people to make web applications, right? Number one, web applications, they can be tools, they can be products, right? You just use it in a lot of different ways, right? You have fun with it, you can make money out of it, right? It helps you save time, and you can use it to communicate with other people in the chat room or in other way of doing communications, sending emails, for example, right? You can also make things. You can also learn this stuff. For example, now we're trying to learn how to use Python to develop web applications. And then you can also achieve a lot of things, right? So overall, the reason I think web application is important is because it really simply connects people with the internet, right? Because internet is so ubiquitous now. So the more people get into the consume the internet, the more powerful the internet is. And also the more powerful the people can get out of the internet. All right. I want to make this workshop more conversational, so I don't want to stand here, keep talking and talking. If you have any questions, any kind of comments, just raise your hands and we can talk. Okay. I mean, maybe you can just unmute yourself and start talking. I'm okay with that. And a web application is not easy to make, to be honest, right? At beginning, and this static web page all over the place at early age of internet, right? Basically, what you do is you have a static file, HTML, CSS coming later than that, right? You have this couple files, and then you host on a server. You have a very simple browser. People request URL and server to send all the content to browser. Browser render them on top of your machine. And then you read it and you see what's going on. And then you get what you get. And that's it. And later on, people feel like, hey, we need more way to interact with the internet, right? One way is not a good solution. One way cannot do too much. How about make it 2 ways, right? So if we can also send something back to the browser, and then browsers send something back to the server, and then server can correspond with some kind of changes and then push it back to browser, that'd be cool, right? Turns out it is nowadays what the internet looks like. I mean, it's called interactive web applications. For example, you have a Facebook app, right? You can type in something, hit a button, and then boom, your stuff is saved in the backend database, and then your friends can see what you type in, right? So actually, there's a couple steps, right? First of all, you need to send something back to the browser, and in the browser, there's a lot of things happening, and the browser will send something back to the server, and there are a lot of things going on in the server side. And then you see what you ask for. Now, if you check the technology make front end happen, it's really most of the technology happen in the front end is dominated by JavaScript. For example, all the famous all the common web front end framework, they are JavaScript based. For example, React, jQuery, Vue.js, etc. And then in the backend, they're more diverse, right? The language you can use to write backend is more. For example, Python is a big one, Java, Ruby, PHP, sometimes people still use it, and Golang. JavaScript also started to move to backend. So like Node.js is very famous JavaScript-based backend server. Okay, now, if you want to really pick a language to study or to learn, right? What is the best language for you to learn? And then from the web building application perspective, maybe JavaScript, because you can use JavaScript to do both front end and back end, right? And then you can use one language to do all. So this fits very, very well to your purpose. However, if you just go to a larger picture, right? If you look at, hey, if you in future you don't want to become a web developer, you also want to explore other careers. For example, you want to be a statistician, for example. And then JavaScript, there's not too much place, not too much position for JavaScript in statistics study. And if you want to do scientific programming, and mostly people use MATLAB, C++, Fortran, and Python, right? And then if you want to do some machine learning, predominantly people use Python, right? And then big data, very similar story. And if you want to use Scala, SQL, Java, this Python, JavaScript rarely happen in that space. So now it looks like Python is very, can give you a lot of possibility, right? If you don't want to confine yourself into web development, you want to explore other things, Python probably give you a good, Python probably is a good approach for you to study your start your first language. The only problem is, okay, if you want to develop web application, Python have some gaps to fill. For example, how do you deal with Python front end? If how do you deal with front end? If you don't have front end, you cannot ship your web. You cannot just say, hey, I code my backend. I don't know how to do front end. Everybody call my API. This is not the typical way people consume web application, right? Especially for people who don't know anything about tech. So you do need a web front page. You do need a web UI. And that's why I think this is the goal of PyWebIO is, okay, I want you to write Python once and get both front and back end. So a complete web page is there for you to share with other people. All right. Any questions so far? All right, we have very quiet audience, but I hope soon we can. Now I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to. I want to everybody start to coding, and meanwhile I will show you what I do and explain how things happens. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, let's do this. Number one, you open your browser, right, and then you go to this link, and then you register a user, and then use the invitation code SuperPOSITRON. All right. After you're done, I will probably give you 3 minutes to 5 minutes, and then let you finish it. Meanwhile, I'm going to share another screen. It's my demo machine. I'm going to log in my demo account, workshop account, and then we can get started. All right. I'm going to stop sharing here. Let's see if I share both, what can happen. I've stopped sharing, so only one people can share. Okay.
Do you want me to enable like multiple screen share?
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay. Should work now.
Awesome. Okay, so maybe you just type okay when you see. Oh, I will send the link to the chat. Hold on for 1 second. I put the link to the chat window. No, you already have the invitation code, just SuperPOSITRON. Let me also put it here. So you will, after you log in, sign up, and it will automatically log in, and you will see an interface exactly as what I have on my shared window. Okay, anybody haven't get into this window yet? The invitation code is SuperPOSITRON. You just type it in. Sophie just asked, it says I need an invitation code. You just put a SuperPOSITRON in the invitation code and then start registration. It should work. Anybody still having trouble sign up? Cool. I see somebody said all set. Okay, just hold on for a little bit so other people can also sign up. Okay, should we get started? Let's go. Okay. Awesome. Yes, you may proceed. Yes. Okay, cool. So let me just introduce this a little bit. So this is your ID, right? And then here you have a preview logs. We will see how it works. And then this is open. You supposedly, if you have other files, you will open here. But number one thing, let's do it. Just create a new file. So this demo, I'm going to show you how to build a Hello World page, right? Very simple, a little bit interactive. Let's start with the simple. So here I'm going to type in my Py file name, right? Create a Py file, that's all. Don't forget the .py as an extension name, otherwise it won't recognize it's a Py file, okay? After you type in your file name, .py, and just click create file. Now you have this. Here you have your file name here, and you can also delete it. Let's do not delete it for now. And then that's it. Now let's just write something, okay? You can do it with me, feel free. I will just call one function called put text, which means, hey, I want to put this text on my website, okay? And then in this page, I'm going to put a string. In Python, if you put a string, I mean, if you put something in a quotation mark, in between two quotation marks, that's a string, right? In case somebody are not familiar with Python syntax. And then the first three lines are basically import some libraries we need to use. And then here we define a function called main. In PyWebIO, the main function is your main website application. Right? We will see how it works later. So now if you finish this line of code, put underscore text, and then put a string in the bracket, you click save and run. All right. And then what you will see is here, you will see something happens showing up on this preview window, right? And this is your website. You can now share it and give it a name. Hey, hello user, right? And you click share, more click, boom, this is your website now. You can share this URL to everybody, right? And then, but this website seems too simple, right? Let's make it a little bit more complicated. We shared, and then let's make it, let's add more features. So anybody have trouble seeing this hello on their own website? If you see any issues, just unmute yourself and then start talking, and then we can solve that on the fly. All right. Okay. Now, what do we do next? Let's do, okay. I need to put a hello something there, right? I want to put the hello. I want to let other people to type in something and then put their name there. For example, say, hey, hello, Jordan. If somebody put Jordan there, and then I will say hello, Jordan, right? If somebody say, hey, put Max there, I will say hello, Max. How do we do it? We need some input from users, right? And then let's add another line. Let's say username equal. Here I need input, right? Equal input. I'm going to say, tell me your name. That's it. And then username is this. And then hello username. So basically, this is me telling my browser, hey, I need somebody to input a name. And then after they click the button, the username will be the string people input. And then I'm going to put a text called hello username. If you run it, you will see, okay, you have this window pop up. So here is where you can input some names. For example, I can put my name here. After I click, my name shows up here. All right, and then now it's become a little bit interactive. All right, anybody have issue gone this far? Okay, as people say, no issue so far, and nope, all good for me, it's good. All right, let's make it more complicated. Now you see what happens. All right, so let's break down into these two lines. Number one, line number 7 is, hey, I need username. And then when my theme, let's add one more line. Say, hey, let's put some kind of text up front, okay? Input, this is my first track to web app. Okay, when you execute this, first of all, you see line number 7 get executed. So I put this here, and line number 9 get executed. I put this here, and then the program stopped there. All right, so it wait until you input something, and then we go continue, right? If you input some name here, it will go execute line number 11, and then we output this. So this is called blocking architecture. So basically, it's very similar if you are very familiar with scripting languages. For example, Python. If you ever run Python program in a console log, for example, right? In a console or in a terminal, right? Every time you have input, your program will stop at exactly the place and wait until people input something. This is the same case, right? Basically, writing a web application now is as easy as writing a script. Now let's make this a little bit fancier. So now I want to, have some confirmation to the input. This because there's some bug, right? Let's rerun it, tell you where the bug is. It's very well, it executed number 7, and also it executed number 9. If I just input anything, I put submit, it still go, but without anything or username. So you don't, for example, you don't want a user to get away from it. So hey, I want people to push the button only they have something in the input. How do we do it? Simply, we have this input, right? And then the input has other parameter called required. Let's put it true. Then we tell this PyWebIO, hey, if somebody don't put anything here, raise an error. And then this is exactly what it does. For example, we run it, same thing we see in the beginning, right? And then if we don't put anything, it show an error message. Hey, please fill out this field. It needs something, right? You cannot get away from it anymore because it's required. Now, if I put my name there, it will execute. Otherwise, it's continue halting there and then stop doing anything. All right. Turns out this input has more parameters for you to look into. The best way is to go to this PyWebIO documentation and read it. For example, right? We have this function list, this input. In the input, you have so many different parameters you can use, right? And the name, you can put, let's try some of them, right? Placeholder, required is what we used in the last round. And let's try something new. For example, now let's add a help text. Let's say help text equal to type anything and your data is not saved, right? And I'm also going to add a placeholder because you want to remind people what you put in. In this case, I'll put your name. If you run it, see this, dialog become more and more features, right? You see, this is the help text you define, and then this is the placeholder, right? And then if you click this button, it won't show anything until you fill it up, right? Remember, we just open. We told you, hey, this is your web application already, and then so if you go to your URL, now exactly the same thing happens in your previous window. Preview window will show up here. All right. If you already done this far, share with us your URL. Remember how to get a URL? You go here, click share, and then give a slug, right? Any string you want, and click share, and you will get this URL. And then maybe you can share your URL in the chat window so other people can also see your application. Maybe you can be creative. Hey, what kind of help text you want to put in, what a placeholder want to put in, right? Just be courtesy with other people, right? I'm going to wait for probably 3 minutes until you finish this step, share your a link URL, right? And then we can continue. Any questions so far? Let me first put my URL. If you check the URL, actually your username will be in the first place, right? In this case, my username is workshop and PyWebIO, and then you have your app name you just defined, right? Yep. Help text. Probably what you want to do is, did you miss this comma at the end? Make sure that, because this is the input is a function, right? You need to put a lot of parameters. Every you need to use comma to separate each parameters, right? And help text is this. You put a string, and placeholder as well. You put a string there. All right, we have question is, hey, we have a ideal. I don't know if I pronounce this right. You ask, hey, can you edit the submit reset box? Do you mean, hey, you want to change the color, you want to change the size, you want to change the font, or you want to add more button?
Yeah, maybe like changing the reset text
Oh, yeah,
or something.
we can. A little bit more if you go to read the documentation, there's actions. Let me put it here. There's actions. So basically, you can define your own boxes, buttons, right? You can put, for example, in this case, you can put confirm, you can put cancel, you can put everything. This is probably a little bit more beyond this workshop. So I would just recommend that you just go read this and try it by yourself. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, thank you. I was looking for like the confirm or cancel options, so that's great.
Yeah, just, all right. Yeah, bracket is very important in Python, right? Yeah, this shows, hey, this is the part of the function. All right, anybody have other issues? Yeah, just unmute yourself and then just, it won't show the hello anymore. Make sure line number 14 is correct. And also, if you can, go to your log file, right? See if you have any error logs. It won't show the part where I need to enter my name. You mean line number 9 doesn't execute, right? So do you mind you unmute yourself? Okay. Cool. Hey, Amrit said, hey, can you share the link where all the information is written down? Yes, this is the documentation we have. Let me put it here. So this documentation have all the definition of parameters, APIs, and then even some cool demos you can look into. Okay. So now everybody has your app up and running, right? That's cool. All right. Hey, let's beautify this a little bit more. For example, now we have all the name get input, and then we get also output in the right string. What if we want a little bit more style? So we also, this PyWebIO also support Markdown. If you don't know what Markdown is, it's very similar to HTML. However, it's the Markdown, this works a bit less what HTML can do. However, as a benefit, the mark who show the title, everything, mark all the text is much easier and then much cleaner. Let me show you one thing. So in Python, I also want to do this. Username, right? So in this way, we don't. So this is another way you construct strings, right? Hello, this, and if we click, it does the same thing as before, just a little bit easier to read. Oh, I have error. See, put Markdown, hello, have a syntax error. I probably forget this. Let me change it back to whole text. Previous one. So here's the thing. There's no comma between this. Now it should work. Now if you say name, submit, it will show exactly this line. Right here, it just tell Python, hey, this is a string, and then it's this placeholder of string, and then go to this place, use this variable to fill in that placeholder. Right? It's exactly show the same functionality as before, but it's just a little bit more easy to read. Now, if we put Markdown, what it does is this symbol in Markdown will now show exactly the symbol, but we'll label this hello as a title, right? If we execute it, run this app, and then let's see how it goes. If you run this, you'll see this title become very huge. All right. And last, I want to show you another interesting things for you to beautify your it's called put image. Basically, you can just put an image on your website, right? So let's find a Python image, Python logo image. Quickly on the internet, how about this one? Let me open the image in the new file. So this is a PNG file. This is the URL of the picture, and let's put it here. So put image. You tell them, hey, what's the image source of it? You just copy it. And this is a very long string, but let's run it, see what happens. Have error. No, we don't. So now you have this hello, and then you also go execute line number 16, and then you have this image on your website, right? And then if you run this here, you have larger browser now, and then you will see a larger picture, right? And the picture is interactive. It's responsive with this browser. Okay, of course, you can define the height, the width, everything of a picture, and then you just need to go to this doc, right? Search put image, and you will have this here. And then in this put image, you see there's so many different parameters you can tweak. You can put a title there, you can put a format, you can put a width, height. Don't waste time on this now, but feel free to play with it. Okay, so far, I just show you how to code up your first interactive web app. You can imagine that, hey, this way, only knowing how to do input can already give you a lot of potential to build up a lot of interesting web applications. All right, so far, any problems, questions, issues you see? Okay, so I have a question from Aliyah. The username is not defined means, hey, maybe this username either type in the wrong one and then, or you forget put a username in front of input. If everything is right, check if you.
Yeah, everything was right, but like it wasn't working.
Yeah, do you mind share your screen? Maybe we can do live troubleshooting.
Shoot, I can't really like share my screen because I'm using Zoom on my phone and I'm using my computer.
Oh, I see. But a couple of things for you to think. Do you have this username equal? So basically, you just let this program know, hey, whatever user input will be put as user name.
Yeah, I have it.
All right. And then you have a username here. There's no misspelling, right? It's this username.
And yeah, I have that too.
Yeah. And then I also have this hello, this, everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me do one thing.
You could try.
Yeah. Let me do one thing. Okay?
You could try copying and pasting your code into the chat. I've done that.
Okay. Okay. All right.
It's not easy because he's using she's using the phone to do it. How about this?
So mine is like the older one because I was trying to get it to work. So I don't have like the
Oh, and then you
the
see
percentages and stuff.
there's a misspelling because the first username on line number 9.
Oh,
There's-
oh my gosh, yeah, because like, oh man, something was happening.
Yeah, I mean this is common. I mean this common issue happening all over the places.
See.
So
Oh yeah, no, it's still not working.
it's still not working. Let me see.
Yeah.
What is the error message you get?
Okay, I'm getting another one that says
That's good.
indentation error. Unindent does not match any outer indentation level.
Okay, so here's the thing. In Python, right? This is 4 space indentation, right? And then here is another 4 space indentation. And here, because this is not actually a new line, you need to also put 4 indentation in between and in front of it. Try
Okay.
if this is 4.
Oh yeah, because mine is in like one line. Let me.
Oh, you have 1 line.
Yeah, I tried to move it down, but then it like deleted the whole thing. So I was like, oh, okay, there we go. Let me see.
Right, this is sometimes annoying part, right? You have to count.
Oh man, it's still not working.
How about, I mean, if you don't have this help tags placeholder, it should work, right?
Let me see.
If you just delete everything and you tell me your name and required equal true, just make it shorter, it should work.
All right.
And the rest of it, just make sure I will, I will put a link here for you to copy paste, and then maybe, hold on 1 second.
Huh. Man, yeah, it's still not working. That's so... Oh man, it was
Frustrating,
working
right?
like
Okay.
a while ago.
It's okay. So what do you call your file name? Can you delete your file? maybe I will give you a URL, and then you would just use that URL, and the correct code will show up on your window.
Okay.
All right.
All
you
right.
know you know how to delete a file? Use this button.
Oh,
Use the delete button.
okay. Delete.
But for the rest of people who have already done this, right, you can read this documentation and then try to beautify your web page a little bit more. And then after that, we will show you one more example how to use this one single input, build a useful website to track stock price, for example. All right. Meanwhile, I'm going to do some troubleshooting. Have you deleted your file yet?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So this is URL I just input in the chat window.
Okay.
Click that. Tell me what you see.
All right. I see the file like while it's new.
Did you see the source code already populated?
No, it's just like plain. I mean, I guess I can retype it and see if it'll work.
Hmm. Let me do one more thing. Let me give you another. So I give you a new URL. And try open this, and let me know if you can see. So basically, this is a feature. We have this. We have for easy for people to share their source code. You can do that too. Share source codes with other people. So this is the link I give it to you in the chat window. You click it and see if you can see the source code exactly like what I have here.
That's still like brand new.
How about this? Let's work on this offline after we finish the second demo. And then maybe you have a better luck in the second demo.
Okay. Thank you, though.
Hey, no worries. And just ping me after this. We're going to fix it. All right. So now you have this kind of interesting way to interact with your users, right? And basically, I'm going to drop in a demo, and then we're going to just go line by line with the demo. And the demo is really use this. Hold on for 1 second. So I just sent this URL to in the chat window called get demo check stock. Right. Click that, and you should see a lot. You will see a source code populated. Let me know if you can now. Do you see what I'm saying? So after I click that link, okay, great. Maybe the other one has some issue. We will fix it. Thank you. So this is the source code. If everybody can see it, this is source code to help you to track. I mean, the source code is a bit longer than the previous one, right? But exactly the same thing. And then, but you add a lot of things at the back end. So what happened is, let's run this and see what happens. So here, you say, hey, input a stock. If for people who don't know what stock ticker is, just a 4-letter symbol of a stock representing a stock. Hold on for a second. I have a pin in the chat. My code is working and I don't know what to do anymore. Now we're moving on to the new check stock demo. Are you still be able to following us? In this demo, I'm going to put Apple, and then let's see what's going on. So basically, it shows a title, and it shows you a little bit fancier version of response, right? In this case, it's a graph, it's a picture, but you can show all the data. It's a plot. So basically, it shows you, hey, today is August 12th. This is what Apple stock price moving along with time, right? So let's read this line by line, and then let's see how it goes. So number one, I import more Python packages other than the PyWebIO ones because I want to do more processing, right? I have a pandas. For who don't know what pandas is, pandas is a Python library for you to do a lot of data analysis, right? And then here I also import YFinance. It's Yahoo Finance API. So basically, you can use this to get any stock data. And then lastly is a Python library called Plotly, right? This Plotly is a library for you to plot some graph and then put in on your website. So what it does is, let's go to the main function. Again, the main function is the function we use to run this app. Number one, we give this page a title, right? If you share this link, you will see the title no longer is PyWebIO application. Now it's become check stock price, right? This is what this line does. This line just change the title of the page. It's a small thing we don't have to worry about too much. Then, as exactly the same as the last demo, we let user to input a stock tickers, right? So we say, hey, input something. Right, let's run it, see it again. Right, hey, input something. Last time it was your username. This time it's 4 letters. And then after this get executed, you get the stock ticker, and then you say, hey, check your stock, and you put a claps. I will tell you what this clap is. Clap is this, right? You can toggle off, on, off, right? This is very interesting. Maybe there's some use cases for you to want people to hide something on their website. It's useful. And after that, you put HTML, you do analysis, right? And you call this analysis HTML, and you put this ticker as a parameter name. So here in Python, we define a function called analysis HTML, right? And the stock ticker, basically here is the entire line is all I got this data, and then I start to plot this data, and then I add some lines here to calculate the moving average, mean, 95 percentile. Those are statistics, right? And then later on, I return this HTML of this graph, and then I just use put HTML to put it on the website, right? This is 45 line of code, basically do a very simple thing, a little bit fancier version of Hello World demo. If you happen to have some kind of Python functions already written down, putting them are rapid to make a web application is super easy, right? For people who is not familiar with this, right, I think PyWebIO will give you a very interesting way to learn, start to learn Python. You can start with this, very simple, have an input output, and then you can start to define function, and then you put your variables in, and then you do your calculation. As a matter of fact, I taught my daughter how to develop a calculator by herself, right? And then put the two numbers in, and then do plus, minus, multiplication, right? And then she was able to do it. It's using very, very simple application like this, right? So far, any questions? Oh, okay. So as you see, we have this repository, and you can just go check all the demos, right? You can check all the demos here. So basically each Py file is the demo, and then you can do a lot of fancy things. For example, let me log into another PyWebIO account, which is a demo account. I show a lot of, I have a lot of demos there. I can show some to you. Some of my personal, for example, chat room. It's an interesting one, right? And then I can start chatting with my friend. My nickname, super. And then here's hello. And then if you find my friend also online, people can chat. Let me share this with you. So this is online chat window. If you also open browser like this, we can start chatting. Right? Batman. And then in the first actually the first user will see Batman join the room, and also Batman say hello too. And if I reply, and Batman in this window is able to see it. Okay, this is very interesting. Another interesting application. Let me close those. It's Gomoko game. I don't know if you get familiar with Gomoko. Basically, it's a very old game, very popular. So you have you use stones, right? You use one black, one white, right? And then you can just take turns to put stones on the board, and whoever have 5 stones in a row will win, right? So if my row is white, and then if I open this, my row become black, right? If I go hit this, I will win a game. Game over, the winner is this. So this application can also be written, developed using PyWebIO. Right now, I think feel free to explore in this repository. I'm going to put this repository here. And if you have any questions, just ping me. And then I will just we can do some troubleshootings together maybe. And then if you have some ideas of your applications, we can also talk. Right, let me tell you some limitation about PyWebIO as well. As you see, basically what happened in the back is PyWebIO already code up a lot of web widget for you, right? For some input, put image, right? And all the other function you can call. So if you say, hey, I want to customize my widget, and then you have to do more work. Or if you say, hey, I want to change my font, I want to change my style, right? And then you need to break into this widget, and then you need to tweak by yourself. For some application, for example, if you're very, very sensitive to what font to use, what color to use, right? PyWebIO is still premature for you. Even though PyWebIO can give you a very, straightforward UI experience, but if you say, hey, this is the color I specifically like, I want to show it to my users, then you have to break in. Meanwhile, if you really don't care about how front-end style looks like, but you wanted this execution flow very well and easy to build, then PyWebIO is a good way for you to code up a fast and easy web application, right? It's super easy and it's super fun to use, especially for hackathon, right? We have users who spend a night during a night and then code up very complicated application and then win a hackathon, right? Those are something we always, try to support, right? But if you say, hey, my project is super, I mean, my project, the point of my project is the UI part, right? Maybe you should start with HTML, CSS, and other Java script-based web framework. But if your project is heavily backend data-oriented, give PyWebIO a try. All right. So far, we have tried 2 demos, and then there's more demos for you to go. And also here is the documentation for you to read through. There's so many different things for you to look at, right? And we support a lot of different widget. You can also upload, download files. There's also other things. And then if you have any questions so far, right, let me know in the chat window. And then after probably 1 or 2 minutes, we can move on and to conclude this workshop. Okay, let me share my presentation window one more time. Oh, okay. So what do you feel so far as been using PyWebIO? I mean, feel free to type any comments, questions. Now it's Q&A time. And the last thing I want to say is we have a Twitter account, and then we have a GitHub repository. And then feel free to, follow us. Thank you for Aliyah, right? She think it's really fun and mess up a little bit, but enjoy it. That's good, right? And then that's the purpose of this workshop, right? And then for people to enjoy it, that's good, right? And then it's a great start for you to learn Python. Very nice. And then if you are interested in learning more or helping out, right? Send me a message, send me an email, and or join the Discord. And then we have a couple intern positions opening, right? Especially in content marketing. And then we need people who can manage social media. As you see, our Twitter account is poorly managed, right? We want to grow that apparently. And then we also need people who can do advocate application development, right? If you happen to be interested in doing that, let me know. And then also feel free to give our stars in GitHub if you have a GitHub account. All right. And then with that, I'm open to any questions, and then you also feel free to leave.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
Have a good night.
Yeah. Have a good day to you too.
Hi everyone. We have a Google Cloud workshop happening right now. So if you would like to join that, the link is in the Discord. But thank you so much to Heelan for presenting this workshop to us. It was super interesting.
Hey, my pleasure. Always want to support. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.